Hey guys, welcome back to Top Tipper Betting Tips. I trust you're having a fantastic evening and you've been enjoying the racing. Some of the tipping has been fantastic from the team, and hopefully we can keep going with it. I want to welcome back the postman. He hasn't been well for a while, so welcome back the postman. He's going to be doing his analysis, and yeah, we're happy to have you back, and we've missed you. So here's the postman.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, no matter where in the world you guys are. And again, a big warm welcome to the Top Tipper family. Very nice to be back. And let's go through the card for Thursday, the 16th of March. Running from the Turffontein inner track, 9 races carded. Guys, looks like that the form will probably hold in the first couple of races, and as the day progresses, the races seem to get more difficult. So if structuring bets, maybe try and go a little light earlier on, and as the day goes on, maybe add one or two in. 9 races carded. First is due off at 12:05. This is a work rider's maiden plate for the girls, over 1450 meters. And my selections here: 4, 2, 6, and 7. When we go through this race, the 4 looks the obvious choice here. Place both runs with blinkers. Blinkers stay on, and I certainly think that the Terry Yard will kick us off in the right direction here. For swingers and exactors, I certainly will be throwing in the 2, Unyielding. This must have a small chance here. And the other one that I'll throw in is the 6, Cleantro, from the Fabian Habib yard. I'm not going to get too involved here. And as I said, we're going to take exactor 4 to win by 2 and 6. And let's see what happens there. We'll move on to the second race on the card, guys. This is the first leg of our bipot. You'll see our selections here. We have gone pretty light. If you fancy anything, guys, add in. In the second race, I do know that horse number 4 has been scratched. Please take note, there are several first timers here, so just be careful when structuring bets. And in the second race, I've gone 2, 6, 1, and 3. 2 is Pure Predator. This is Gav Larina for Fani Broncos. Did have one run, won really well. Ran on strongly on that occasion, I think with a nice draw of 2. Certainly has to be there when the whips are cracking. For second, I've gone for the first timer from the Mark de Cockyard. This is No Place Like Home. Craig Zaki gets a ride here, drawn a little wide at 6. Watch this one go down. I like the way this is bred, and I certainly think that this son of Master of Fate can go really close. For third, we've gone for the 1. This is Fire and Flames. This has got, again, some consistent form. Dennis Suarez retains the ride here, and again, very speedy sort. First time over the 1200 meters, but again, I certainly think this should be good enough to run a drum. And for fourth, we've gone for the 3. This is Keegan de Miller for the Johan Janssen van Vuren yard, and I am looking for an improved effort from that one. We move on to the third race. This is the first leg of the place accumulator. Due off at 13:05, a juvenile plate for the girls, again over 1200 meters. And here we've gone 2, 6, 7, and 5. My first selection is the 2, I Star. Chase Mojon retains the ride here for Fabian Habib. He did ride this one first tonight. There was a bit of support for it, moved up well, and held on. Again, I certainly think with racing experience and a nice draw, must go very close. For second, gone for a first timer here. This is Craig Zaki for the Hodalarcus yard. Egyptian Mao, nicely bred daughter of Fire Away. I see that this is drawn a little wide at 7. But again, I certainly think in a small field, good enough to run a drum. Watch this one go down, though, if having a bet on the nose. For third, I've gone for 7, Heirloom. This has had 4 runs for 3 seconds and a third. Gavin Dorine gets aboard this one for the Robin Klaasen yard, and again good enough to fill in one of their minor spots. And as I said, for fourth we have gone for the first timer. This is horse 5, Darling Harbour, Keegan DeMella for Candace Dawson. Generally Candace doesn't get him 100% first time out, but again, nicely bred daughter of Pomodoro. Certainly can fill in one of the minor spots with breeding like that. So race 3, 2, 6, 7 and 5. Fourth race on the card, draw off at 13:35, maiden plate over 1450 meters, and this is the first leg of our pick 6. When we go through here, the first selection here is horse number 1, Raptor Island. Dennis Schwarz retained or gets a ride here for Tony Peters. Dennis has been riding really well for the yard. Last time I finished second, just over length to Brave Viking. I think this will jump. I think this one will go to the front, and I certainly think will be very hard to peg back, especially from the draw of 1. For second, I've gone for horse number 9, Sky Velocity, Keegan DeMiller for the Van Vuren yard. Again, has not got bad form, finishing second last time out, albeit 6 lengths behind Bushveld. But again, in this field, good enough to fill in one of the placings. For third, we've gone for the 4, and this is Cornello, Gabriel Peterson for Shayla Nadu. Again, this one has had many chances, but could be good enough to fill in one of the minor spots. And for fourth, I throw in horse 2, Nice Ruffy here, Royal Raphael, Chase Morjan for the Fisser yard. And I think this may be good enough to fill in the back end of trifectas and quartets. If I'm taking a bet here, obviously the 1 is the right thing. Maybe watch a 2 go down. At 16 to 1, I think this could be a decent little place bet. So race 4, 1, 9, 4 and 2. We'll move on to race 5, and this is the first leg of Jackpot 1, due off at 14:05, a classified stakes over 1600 meters. And in the fifth race, my first selection here is horse number 6, and this is Napoleon. Again, this is Dennis Schwarz for the Tony Peter yard. Last time out was the first one in the province. I'm putting a line through that. I think the 1800 is just a touch too far. Was drawn widest of all, 14 out of 14, and I certainly think that this one will give a decent account of itself, and I'm certainly looking for an improved effort from Napoleon. For second, I have thrown in horse number 8. This is Burmese Tiara, JP van der Merwe for the Barent Boertis Yvette Vosloo yard. JP rode this one last time out, finishing second under length. I think this will jump. I think we'll go to the front from a nice draw of 2. This may be quite difficult to peg back. For third, we've gone for the 7. This is Welcome Breeze, Craig Zaki for the Lucky Hood Alarcus yard. I'm looking for an improved effort here. This one is stepping up to the mile, and again in this field, I think good enough to fill in one of the minor spots. For fourth, guys, we've thrown in horse number 4. And this is Bloomington, Samango Kamala for the Habib yard. If this one was drawn better, I certainly would have pushed this one up my selections, but I think from that bad draw of 12, maybe good enough to sneak into the back end of trifectas and quartets. So there we've gone 6, 8, 7 and 4. Move on to the 6th race on the card, and this is due off at 14:45. A merit rated 88 handicap for the girls over 1800 meters, and this is the first leg of the second jackpot. And in the 6th race, guys, I think this is the best bet on the card. My first selection is horse number 2, and this is Tulip Tree. Diego de Gaveo retains a ride here for Stewie Pettigrew. Diego rode this one last time out, ran on really well last time. I think that I'm looking for a similar effort here, and I think this is coming in round about 72, 4 to 1. I really think this is a decent bet. Even if this is paying 160 a drum, I'm certainly going to have a couple bob on that. So quite a strong first selection was horse 2, Tulip Tree. For second, I've gone for the 4. This is Southern Song. Craig Zaki for the Mike and Adam Azzy yard. Last time out was ridden by Diego de Gavea, is coming back from a 10-week layoff. And again, I certainly think that this one is good enough to fill in one of these spots. For third, we've gone for the 8. And this is Cape Lights. Muziyeni, welcome back for Robbie Sage. Again, has got some decent form. Did finish second to Tulip Tree last time out. Was second best on that occasion. Big negative here, drawn 10 out of 10. I think we'll play second fiddle again to Tulip Tree. For third, we've gone for horse number 10. Nice roughie here, Pascal Samore. Chase Mojan for the Mowing yard. This is only carrying 52.5. The last 3 runs or last 5 runs have really been decent. I think this will jump. I think Chase will take this one to the front and play Catch Me If You Can. And I think good enough to fill in one of the minor spots. So race 6, 2, 4, 8, and 10. We'll move on to the 7th race on the card. This is due off at 15:20, met rated a 69 handicap for the girls, over 1800 meters. And in this event, my first selection here is Call the Wind. And this again, Dennis Swartz, this time for Roy Magna. Dennis rode this one the last 2 runs, finishing 5th, and then an improved effort 3rd, a length behind last year, last time out. Was running on that occasion. And I certainly think that, again, Call the Wind will give a decent account of itself around about 4-1. For second, I've gone for horse number 8, English Primrose. Craig Zaki for the Hudalarcus yard. We know that Craig rides well for this yard. I think that this one will jump. I think we'll be up there. Last time out there was betting support for this and certainly came home. And again, I certainly think that this one will give a good account of itself. For third, we've thrown in horse number 4. This is Pashasha. Muziyeni for the Magna yard. Nicely drawn at 6. Last time out, I'm putting a line through that. I certainly think it's better than that. Will sit handy, and again, good enough for back end of trifectas and quartets. For fourth, guys, we've thrown in horse number 10, and this is a nice roughie here, Midnight Crystal. Donald Geertsen for the Terry yard. Donald claiming is 2.5. Midnight Crystal will only be carrying 51. We go and we look. This has got some average form. Last time I did have excuses, so I'm looking for an improved effort from the 10, and we've thrown that to run into 4th spot. So race 7, we've gone 2, 8, 4, and 10. Quite an open event. 8th race on the card, another open event. This is due off at 15:55. A med rate at 66 handicap over 2,000 meters. And the 8th race, my value bet here is horse number 3. This is Oyster King. Oyster King again, I think great value at around about 9-2, 5-1. Samanga Kamala for the Yonker yard. I certainly think that with that draw, I'm hoping that Samanga jumps and brings this one from a little off the pace. Was finishing hand over fist the last 2 occasions, and again from that draw I don't think Samanga has any option, and I think Oyster King will be running on when others have cried enough. For second, we have gone for the 9, and this is the Tuli Sianda Sasibo for the Fabian Habib yard. Sianda will be claiming his 2.5. The Tuli will be carrying only 52. Last time out was a really good effort, considering this was drawn 11 out of 14, and I certainly would throw this one on all swingers and exactors. For third, we've thrown in horse number 1, and this is Monsieur Chevalier. Mark Khan gets a ride here for the Matchett yard. Again, fair effort last time under the hands of Mark. Was slow, was running on, even with the top weight of 62, maybe good enough for back end of trifectas and quartets. And for fourth, we've thrown in horse number 10. Nice roughie, Lady Sansa. Naya Kwale for Ashley Fortune. I'm certainly going to look at this one go down. Certainly going to throw this one in swingers, trifectas, quartets, even places on this one. I'm hoping that Nao can bring this one into run a drum for us. On some betting sites, if I can get 4 places, I certainly will try. So on the 8th race, we've gone 3, 9, 1, and 10, and I think the 3 is again a bit of value around about 9 to 2 or 5 to 1. We move on to the lucky last, guys. Race 9, due off at 16:35, made rate at 68 handicap over 1200 meters. And in this event, my narrow first selection is horse number 1, Macabessi. Chase Mojan for the Spiciard. Chase jumps aboard this one. He's coming back from a 12-week layoff. I certainly think that this one will jump. I think we'll be up there and may be able to hang on at round about 5 to 1. For second, we've gone for the 3. This is Pendragon. Gavin Arena for the Broncos Shard. Nasty drawn at 1. Gavin rode this one last night, was running on really well on that occasion, over 1,000 meters. So the additional 200 meters will shoot this one down to the ground and cannot be left out of any perms. For third, we've thrown in horse number 8. And this is Power Ranger, Muzieni for Roy Magna. This one has fatted to deceive on many occasions. Again, drawn wide, and again, I think Power Ranger good enough for a back end of trifectas and quartets. And for fourth, we've gone for the 7. And this is Timbavati River, Julius Mariba for the Fortune Yard. Again, hoping that this one can run a drum for Julius. If so, we can pick up a couple rand places on that. So race 9, 1, 3, 8, and 7. Guys, as I said, great to be back. Watch betting on first timers. Watch for scratchings, guys. Please, as I said, the earlier races look easier. If you can make a money early, stay out. If not, well, have a look at the best bet and the value bets. Guys, take it easy. Look after yourself. Stephen, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, the postman. We appreciate that. I see you tipped a 9-race program, your bar pot PA, your jackpot 1 and jackpot 2. I see no pick 6, so obviously it's quite a tough card. Your best bet Tulip Tree and your value bet Oyster King. So please, Lord, let them arrive and let's make some nice tidy profit. So guys, enjoy your racing, have fun, break a leg, and cheers for now.